I'd just like to share. So basically my topic, what I'm going to focus on is sustainable architecture and how it's actually taking over the world. Basically at the macro level, to make this actual thing happen, which the previous wonderful esteemed speakers have spoken about, we need to have champions like Greta Thunberg and all who will push the world. We have to have leaders like Al Gore who will pick up the mantle, and also depends on much of the population. And professionals in the industry, who really make things matter for us, like Dr. Benny, who spoke earlier, Shabir, and Vivek, all amazing. We are all part of the architectural fraternity, but players like Interwood who actually make this happen, a big thank you to them. I have heard there are a lot of students as well in this audience, so they are the people who will take it forward. But for this entire thing to be successful, we need the clients. We need the clients to say, yes, we will go ahead for it, because sometimes they have a different thought and it's for all of us to put together. In terms of how it's actually taking over the world, like Dr. Benny is a natural at it. Everything he does is by and large amazingly sustainable, but there are these rating systems. I don't know how much of the audience knows. We've got rating systems like the LEED rating system. We have the Indian Terry Griha rating systems, as well as so many other rating systems are coming into place. They're all yardsticks to reduce all the greenhouse gas emissions which we have. But basically, to look at it, we have got the macro level, the micro level points to look at. I'll just briefly touch upon each one of them. But most importantly, what I would like to emphasize is we look at the past. India's got an amazing heritage. Plug it into the present and the future will definitely be there. I'll show you a few of our projects which will encompass a few of these words of using circularity, like what our previous speaker said. You all have to be more materially conscious in terms of try and use as much as possible local material, which will bring down the embodied energy. Carbon neutrality, which is a big thing. A lot of corporates are going in for it. And the 3 R's, which the other speaker was saying, is to recycle, reduce, and reuse. The way it's taking over the world, we're doing a few infrastructure projects, and BIM is playing a very, very major role to ensure we keep our carbon footprint to the minimal. BIM is one. I'll just briefly touch upon the advantages of BIM. And there are many others which are focused on, which like we have the design builder, the IES, Grasshopper, and Energy Plus. What BIM actually does is it's like you have the 4D and 5D BIM. It helps you schedule things. So once you schedule, your wastage comes down. Once wastage comes down, the landfill is reduced. With BIM, you're able to do very precise project development plans. Your lead times are reduced. Your construction is phenomenal. Your installation, curing, drying, all the related work which happens at site gets hugely reduced. So the lesser the time the construction crew spends on time, the faster it is. So we have a far lower energy consumption. What we always look in our projects is to extend the lifespans of the materials as much as possible, use recycled materials. And now a new thing has come about in Europe, which is called the material banks. I'm just touching upon a few keywords because we have an amazing amount of speakers still left with us. We're doing a few huge residential projects. So as much as possible, the industry is moving quite a lot to prefabricated, where a lot of it is happening off-site. In fact, all the walls, the roofs are all done off-site. It's almost like a plug and play. What this helps is eliminates kind of overage and all the scrap due to paucity of time. So I'll just quickly touch upon the projects we're doing and how we're implementing. Like the top left is the Ahmedabad Metro, done a lot of it with BIM in mind. So we reduce the amount of site-related challenges with modeling. We ensure there is less of conflict, especially to run the services. So we have a faster turnaround times on infrastructure projects, which is very critical. Like our previous poetic speaker Vivek was saying, I just put this project on the left because at one point we designed this whole building. If you can see, we had these 2 small projections come out of the side. At one point we had a tree. We put that up And then after the building was commissioned, a Vastu guy came and said, you can't have the tree in place. So, all of a sudden it becomes meaningless. So we're also doing one project where, I don't know, sometimes these Vastu people come and say, it's not good. We're doing a very small, nice residence in Salem. There's a really nice foliage. The spread of the tree is about 30 feet. And the Vastu guy comes and says the tree can't come in the northeast. So we somehow have to get the power and win over some of the other stakeholders and make it happen. You see the colorful furniture which we've done for educational institute. All the laminates were from a recycled place. We salvaged it and put it together. You see the top left image. It's all Reaper woods, and you won't believe it. This is actually in the basement of one of the buildings. We've been using quite a bit of wire cut bricks now. This is a project at the bottom right, which we've just completed for an established educational institute here in Bangalore. We're working on a very affordable housing projects where we've got to make sure the most important key in projects of this magnitude is for the developers to come under cost. And it comes under cost if everything is modular. So we focused a lot on trying to get the units as modular as possible, but still in place to try and achieve all the ratings in place. In fact, one of our esteemed clients, who's one of the biggest nationalized banks in India, for a project which we did about 5 years ago, now they're getting sensitive to come back into a rating system. So with sensitivity building, I feel we are in the right direction. It's up to us and the students here to take it forward. You could see this image on the left side of your screen. We've created volumes in such a way, taken the theme, which the client was so passionate about, was about the tree of life, which we've put it in place because the owner is also a passionate swimmer, having represented India in the Olympics. So we had to put a pool in the topmost floor, and you can see on the slide in the top right, it overlooks the home theater space. And I was talking about quick, fast technology. When we designed the M. Chinnaswamy Cricket Stadium here in Bangalore, the top right is a media center, which we had to put up in 40 days. So everything was prefab. We eliminated on-site construction and made it happen. The bottom left is a temporary decking at the top of a foothill, because it's all modular. It was called the ring and lock system. You're able to assemble and disassemble. So this is what we were talking about for temporary events. Reusing and recycling of materials is what is useful. The top left is the interior space for one of India's most admired corporates. So the interior is filled with, like what Vivek was saying, to get the greenery in. Though it was an air-conditioned space, we told them get 2 to 3 sets of plants where they could move them in and out, is what we did. So due to paucity of time, I had to press hard on the pedal. So thank you all so much.
The Brigade Group is one of India's leading property developers with over 36 years of expertise in building what we call positive experiences. We have a reputation for building A-grade properties in the residential, commercial, and hospitality space. Our business portfolio, as I mentioned, experiences and encompasses residential, which is our primary portfolio, but also hospitality projects and commercial projects. I'm very proud to say that we are ranked amongst the 100 best places to work in India for 11 consecutive years by the GPTW Institute, and also #1 in the real estate space for many years in a row. With that, I will very quickly get into the topic that I'm talking about today, which is sustainability. Now, before I actually get into the whole gamut of it, I want to share with you one slide that typically captures what the general public's opinion and thought about sustainability is. It's on a lighter vein, of course, but this should give you a sense of how most people approach sustainability. Everybody wants it, but nobody wants to do it, right? Having said that, I am very proud to say that one of the core values of our organization actually already encompasses sustainability. And I would like to draw attention to the right side of the screen that has our core values at Brigade. Quality and customer, of course, come first, but so does fairness, innovative, responsible socially, and trustworthiness. Responsible socially is something that we consider our ESGs, our environmental sustainability goals and initiative under as well. As I take you through this presentation, I'd like to talk a little bit about what we do as a group and the initiatives that we are undertaking to be more sustainable. I will also talk a little bit about and give an opportunity to the audience to engage with or be introduced to some of the companies and some of the firms that actually help us in our sustainability journey. I'm given to understand that quite a lot of architecture students who are part of this audience. So I think that will be some value add for them as well. I'll start by touching upon some of our recent traditional sustainability efforts. One of the things I'm very proud about and what we do here at Brigade is we try to create urban forests and urban spaces, also known as Miyawaki forests, in all of our projects. And starting about 2 years back, most of our big projects today have these sort of lung spaces. It's done by planting native species to ensure lower maintenance, higher survival rates. And in terms of the density, it is really, really dense and a lot of value add really for most of our consumers and our customers. Today, when we go back to those projects where we have done these sort of work and we talk to those customers, just, like a lot of you mentioned, a lot of the panelists rather mentioned, just the feel of waking up in the morning and to be able to walk in a park unfettered and to be able to experience that sort of joy. Under our corporate initiative, we have planted more than 50,000 trees across our projects and across cities, of course. The photographs that you see, of course, is from one of our construction sites at the moment. So do excuse me for the quality of it. It's one of our engineers on his phone who's taken that photo. But that entire space of about 2.5 acres, as you can see over there, has got about 16,000 odd trees. So about 30 times more than conventional techniques. This is actually one of those things, Bangalore also being a garden city, one of those initiatives that I personally am very proud of. Lake regeneration is, again, as most of you know, Bangalore was always known as the city of lakes. And over the last 50 odd years, the number of lakes in the city have gone down drastically. In a small effort to ensure that regeneration of lakes happen, we've undertaken the regeneration of the Sitarampalya Lake in Whitefield, which is about 23-acre lake. We've planted about 1,500 trees over there, and to improve marine biodiversity, we've also introduced new algae and a lot of fish species in the water. Again, we do a lot of work in our CSR activities by redeveloping, places of social gathering and public gathering. Some of this work, of course, predates COVID, but today in Malleshwaram, proud to say that the Rayana Park over there is a thriving community park with a lot of water features, lush foliage, sculptures, outdoor gyms, a lot of spaces for jungle gyms for children and people to play. Not to mention, apart from all of that, more than 20 of our buildings are either platinum or gold certified by LEED, by IGBC. This, I believe, showcases our commitment towards developing our projects in a sustainable manner. Now, post the emergence of COVID, really, a lot of importance has been given, and I'm talking about both the residential consumers as well as our commercial clients and tenants. A lot of importance is being given to wellness from the employer's point of view. Especially MNCs, they want to have offices in areas that are sustainable, their environmental friendly practices are adopted and are possible. Employee well-being is also a very big focus these days. With all of these in mind, we are actually, as a group, actively focusing on sustainability-focused startups in our portfolio. Brigade has got something called Brigade REAP. REAP is our real estate accelerator. It is a prop tech accelerator, and we have ensured at least 25 of the startups that we mentor in that space. 25% of the startups that we mentor are in the sustainability space. In the next slide, I'm going to glimpse over very quickly the various companies that have helped us in our initiatives. And I will take the liberty here to tell the audience, if you feel like it, please feel free to take a snapshot of that page. It has a lot of information. It has details of a bunch of companies and organizations that could possibly help you. I will touch upon them very quickly, but all of this information, of course, is available in the public domain, and you should feel free to look it up. VGOT is a company that has helped us. When I say us, of course, a lot of these homes and commercial spaces are within Brigade, but outside of Brigade also. 4 billion, that's with a B, 4 billion liters of water, over 50 service, over 50,000 homes, 30 million square foot of commercial space. If oversimplified, VGOT is a smart water meter, which gamifies the entire water consumption process on your app on a phone, that enables a customer to be more mindful about how they spend. Coming to Clareco, Clareco is a service that allows clean air, or rather the cleaning of air through HVACs, as well as individual ACs in commercial and retail spaces. About 5 million square foot of commercial spaces are covered under Clareco. Similarly, Charger is a startup that enables setting up of charging infrastructure across malls, across residential and commercial spaces. And of course, having good access, as you're all aware, we are moving towards a future where electrical vehicles are probably going to be on the forefront. We're definitely looking at setting up infrastructure that helps move that initiative and pushes the envelope on that. The one part that I'm very interested in talking about, which I think hits home directly for most of the audience today, is a company called Smarter Dharma. Smarter Dharma is a sustainability resource platform. The website is sdplus.com. That is sierra-delta-plus.com. And maybe somebody can type it out in the chat while I speak. This particular platform is so interesting. I've used it myself. We use it here at Brigade. But architects individually can also use it. Do check out the platform. It enables you to today design on their platform details of all of the ecologically sustainable resources and ecologically sustainable initiatives that you would like to put in. And when you design that, along with all of the metrics and inputs that you give, it will give you implications of cost. It will give you implications of savings. It will give you implications of all of the carbon footprint that particular design philosophies may undertake. So definitely check that out. Along with that, we also have the last 4, which I will go through very quickly. With EcoSCP, we've treated about 100 million liters of water, which has saved about 150 megawatt of power that can be used to light close to 100 villages. And Pothole Raja is a personal favorite. I'm a native resident of Bangalore, and roads in Bangalore, well, most of the country, but roads in Bangalore particularly are notorious to have too many potholes, and that tends to actually indirectly reduce the carbon output of all of these vehicles, because there's a lot of slowing down, there's a lot of jams in these places. Through the initiatives of Pothole Raja, 2040 tons of CO2 emissions have been reduced, which effectively is the equivalent of about 81.6 lakh kilometers of car travel reduced. It's something that I think is very commendable. From a building point of view, Structure is a very, very cool company to really talk about. They use straws, the waste and the agricultural waste that is typically there to compress and build building materials, drywalls, countertop materials, shutter material, etc. Definitely check them out. Clareco is something we also use in our own headquarters, which is at the World Trade Center. And all of these items really boil down to how I believe how you're going to sell it to the customer, because as much as the customer wants to be environmentally conscious or environmentally friendly, chances are cost is a factor that typically comes in. I think there was one question by an audience member, Bhavna Bhandari, who was talking about the increased cost of construction because of the implementation, all of this. My humble submission over there, and I'm sure some of the panelists will agree, is while the CapEx typically tends to increase a little bit, we have noticed that the operational expenditure, because of the implementation of these initiatives over a short period of time, would make up for the capital expenditure. that one would need to undertake. I would like to really, thank all of you for taking the time to listen to me. This has been my time. It has been lovely to be able to give you a little bit of an insight into Brigade's sustainability efforts, as well as leave you with some thoughts on what developers such as ourselves are thinking of when it comes to sustainability. Thank you so much, everyone.
I'm trying to look at it through a different lens here. The lens of skilling actually, and how can the overall delivery quality and revenue be increased in this overall process. I'd like to throw some studies and facts here. We talked about the design element, architecture part element, and all of that part. But when we are talking about bringing that to life, there are a lot of people at the back end who are involved into bringing this project or bringing any project into life. And when we are looking at that aspect, are we really considering that wellness there as well? Or if not, then what is the impact of that? As per a report, a survey, a study which was done, India has about 20 times higher death rates on the side when compared to Britain. And when you look at that stat, it will tell you also very clearly, and it will make you think on those lines that what are those people who are working on those sites? What are they wearing? Are they wearing the right gear? Are they doing the job they're supposed to do in the right way? Are they coming with any kind of formal education, to design those beautiful projects that we have thought on our storyboards and our design boards and our mood boards? Are they really skilled to execute those kind of projects in an efficient manner? And if not, what is the impact on the architectural and the interior design projects that this is causing? I think so a big way that we all have faced it, because at some point in time, we all have done certain projects wherein we have felt that there's a loss of resources, loss of productivity, efficiency, delivery, quality, and revenue. How many times we have sent our teams, how many times we have also been on the sites, just ensure that the project is delivered in the manner that we want it to be delivered. So maybe if you really look it backward and try to see and just analyze how much time we spend on the time planning a new project or doing X number of projects in a year, compared to what we would have been able to do if we would not have been investing time going on sites again and again, on the teams which are there for that matter, it would have actually been very beneficial. Now, this lack of right skills is not really, something which is a problem that is there only in our sector or our industry. It's probably there for all the unorganized sectors or fragmented sectors in the country. So much so that if you will look at it, interiors or furniture is not really recognized as even an industry for that matter. And if you compare the percentage of the skilled workforce that join, that is there in our country for that matter, is about 2.3%. Now, if you will say that we have just 2.3% skilled workforce, is it so? Now that's not really the challenge here. The challenge is also that we don't even have a mechanism to to judge, to test, to find out whether these people are actually skilled, they're skilled at a particular level, or can there be a mechanism wherein we can say that okay, fine, they are at this level, and we move them to a higher level. And we are actually not consciously looking into that in most of the segments. If you talk about IT, every year there's some kind of development coming in. The mobile phones versions are changing like anything, but are we really changing the versions of people who are working on the sites, are really working on that front? The industry is attractive. The Indian growth story is very attractive. Given the COVID situations, even India becoming like a China substitute has become very attractive. If you see from the growth of the industry perspective, and I'm sure everybody can see, in terms of the orders that they're getting, delivery might be a challenge, but the order book is not a challenge to the industry for now. So how do we solve this problem? How do we mitigate this problem? So just to showcase what we are doing as a council to solve this problem, I'll go into this next video, which will kind of sum up the story and keep the presentation short. So it talks about the journey, and it also talks about the initiative that Skill India is taking with the help of the Furniture and Fitting Skill Council. So I think so that kind of tells a story of what we do, how we are doing it, and what all is there. So, to sum it up, we're basically trying to provide and bring value to the stakeholders, which is basically industry on one side. And India is said to have, again and again, by the Prime Minister, that we have a demographic dividend. So bringing those career opportunities in terms of self-engaged employment by building the skilling ecosystem, which is able to provide, the skilling opportunities to both industry and the learners, and bridge the gap. And we're doing this with the help of our various initiatives that we have, creating skilling solutions in various regions, bringing the industry together there, bringing the youth or the learners together, and then providing the right kind of solutions. And in that, we have a lot of other, activities that we keep doing. And here today, I would like to share with all the architects, interior designers, and also the youth which is present there, that we should come together to actually achieve and make India the skill capital of the world. So that's all from my side. And if you have any queries regarding Skill India or how you can be a part of it or make a difference, be either side, learner, industry, or becoming a skilling provider, please feel free to connect.
My name is Hadip Sani. I'm the founder of Interwood brand. We have been manufacturing and retailing modular kitchens and wardrobes for a quality-seeking customer for more than 30 years. We use a German recipe for our manufacturing, which makes our kitchens and wardrobes antimicrobial and compliant to even emission norms, which means every Interwood kitchen and wardrobe stands the test of human safety and well-being. A feature extremely important in these times and something we cherish as our brand core ideal. With a brand presence in more than 12 cities, we are recipients of quality certificates in environment safety and highest standards of production. Within 30 years and counting, we are ready to take the next leap of growth in fulfilling aspiration of designer fraternity.
Interwood as a brand started manufacturing kitchens and wardrobes some 30 years ago, as you all know, with a recipe that was truly German, with human well-being at its core ideal. Now, since then, we've kind of come a long way where we have worked with more than 1,500 architects across the country in helping them morph their vision into reality. So today at this milestone of our business, we thought, what could we give back to the design fraternity, which has so amazingly blessed us with their patronage, their love, and their support. So we thought that we also understand that, architects and interior designers are catalysts of social change. Just what we saw when Dr. Kuryakos was speaking. They single-handedly can morph urban landscapes. They can bring about a cultural innovation, and they can also ignite a wellness movement through a meaningful design dialogue. So we thought it would be only appropriate to give back to the architect and design community a gift of 3 R's. Yes, 3 R's. So the first R stands for recognition. By having a WAP model, recognize this amazing design talent pool that we have in our country. We want to kind of give space and visibility and space to all the design fraternity on our newsletter, which will be disseminated to more than 15,000 premium homeowners across the country every year. The second R stands for reward. Yes, a reward. Through this WAP community, we also understand that we want to reward this fraternity by being able to promote their wonderful work through our social media initiatives, through our market outreach programs, which will be constantly disseminated through knowledge sharing platforms such as these webinars for the benefit of all. And third is revenue. Yes, we also, by scouting for meaningful projects, for relevant and meaningful projects for our architects, we at Team Interwood would strive to help our design fraternity increase the revenue growth. And ladies and gentlemen, all with the overarching umbrella of respect. That is our value-added partnership. So without much further delay, I invite all the participants from the design fraternity attending this webinar to be a part of this amazing value-added partnership